You've probably heard about ChatGPT, an advanced AI that can answer questions and have almost human-like conversations. It's become super popular since its launch, and people are saying it will change the internet forever. So what if we put this into Minecraft? How are we going to do this, you might ask? Well, the idea is pretty simple. We are going to make two teams of players, but instead of electing a leader, ChatGPT will be their leader. We will give the AI prompts according to their current situation, and whatever ChatGPT says, they have to do, no matter how ridiculous. If the players fail to comply, they will have to deal with the secret police. And now, let the games begin. As each team spawned in, ChatGPT made its first order. Both teams were told to gather wood, stone, and food to begin. Soon, they would be given their very first task. The communists were ordered to begin by building a communal farm at the base of the volcano to ensure a steady supply of food. TG Dude built the farm almost by himself, but he had trouble finding water. Some of the players traveled east to find a river next to the desert. They brought back the water and finished building the farms, but not all the players followed orders. Iron Potato started to build a church on top of the volcano. Iron Boy, you're supposed to build a farm at the base of the volcano.
I'm gonna build it. I was just finishing up the church.
Although this was against ChatGPT's orders, we let it slide. Meanwhile, the Democrats were told to establish a central gathering area where players can meet, exchange ideas, and collaborate on projects. So they built a farm and built a wall around it to signify their meeting area. I'm not gonna lie, this meeting place looks really bad. Next, ChatGPT told the Democrats to start building houses around the meeting place. Each player started to build their own houses, and their society started to flourish. Over on the communist side, the players were ordered to build a communal storage place, but their first attempt did not look very good, so they prayed to the ChatGPT gods. Magically, they got a crate full of supplies for building, but there was one problem. Somebody had taken the materials and built a 2-story house all for themselves, so we had to fix that.
Big 6 house, it's too big. You might need to cut down on the size. Sharing your house? Alright, that's more like it, that's more like it. Then we're just gonna, you know.
Also,
there we go, that's much better.
This is my house.
There, everyone lives in that house.
Much better.
Everybody lives in one house now.
Meanwhile, the Democrat society was starting to slow down. A lot of players stopped building their houses and started arguing and messing around. Stoomed hid animals underground for himself so he could sell them later. And one player openly defied ChatGPT, and they paid for it.
Seal said no to ChatGPT's demand and then proceeded to disobey them directly.
Uh-oh.
They're using hacks.
Your bots don't work, then
Oh my gosh! Seal is so dead. Seal is so dead.
Let's go. Hey guys.
And he died.
But now it is time for the first event. Both teams are going to build a statue for their country, and whoever builds the best and biggest one gets a chest full of Bastion loot. The communists started to build a Soviet Union flag that was small, but the Democrats literally built nothing and gave up, so the communists won the prize. Immediately after that, the next event took place. Both teams selected one player to sneak into the other side. They would cause as much damage and chaos as possible before either dying or escaping back to their own side. The communists elected recycled bins for their covert mission. He managed to get a few kills, but ended up not causing much harm besides wasting time. But the Democrats had something else in mind. Stoomed was selected to try and infiltrate the other side, and he did. By continually towering up, he was able to pick them off one by one. The communists got him off his tower with fishing rods, but he escaped and killed another player. Again, he killed another player because they were alone. One player managed to lead him back towards the base, but the damage was already done. Again, he escaped towards the volcano, and then he disappeared into the east. At the end of day 1, both teams were dead even, and there was no clear favorite to win. When the players joined on the second day, they noticed that there were trenches surrounding their base to help with defense. Both teams were given specific battle plans that they had to follow word for word unless otherwise told. The Democrats' battle plan was to remain defensive but to send out players in small cavalry groups, while the commies were told to be strictly defensive. So the Democrats started to breed horses and stockpile armor and weapons. But they started to argue over equipment and started killing each other.
We've lost all our horses because Stoomed went on a rampage and started killing everything.
Yeah,
but you were the one who killed them, bro.
Oh my god.
I didn't steal anything, I just killed one.
This is when the commies took the advantage. Following orders, they built turrets on the wall around their base and stockpiled bows and arrows. This is when a player by the name of the Randomizer joined. You may know him from previous videos like the Anarchy and Dimension events. The Democrats knew that he would be a problem for them in the future. Both teams were now given the option to trade for potions. They could either trade for speed or fire resistance. The prices would vary depending on their bargaining skills. As both teams prepared to fight, one player got stuck inside the border.
Uh-oh.
It's flying.
What? Ah! Oh, bro, he's literally flying.
What?
Hey, Seal, can you explain why you're flying?
Yeah, can you explain why my horse is flying?
Finally, the players were given detailed military plans for the final battle. The commies decided to announce their battle plans to everyone, to make sure that they all knew what they were doing. So they gathered inside of their courtroom, and Golden Knight announced the plan.
In response, in the pending attack, we'll focus on defending our base with our fortified walls and trenches. We'll also deploy archery to defend from a distance, and prioritize the creation and distribution of defense potions to aid our soldiers in combat. Our strategy will be to hold our ground and repel any attack, rather than launching a full-scale attack on the enemy's base. So, yeah. Alright, no applause or anything? Nothing? Alright, cool.
Yeah.
At last, it was time for the walls to drop. The Democrats immediately rushed in with their cavalry. The Communists responded by shooting at them with their bows. The Democrats couldn't go over their walls, so they went around. The cavalry flanked around to the back of the commies' base where their walls were weaker. Stoon rushed into their storage room and killed Tiny Smalls, but the commies quickly surrounded Stitchy and killed him. Stoon managed to escape the same way he came in, but he was met outside by the most feared player in the event, the Randomizer. He was looking to get revenge for the death of his friend Tiny Small. Each team's best player was now facing the other. It couldn't have been scripted any better. Stoon kept shooting at Randomizer from the top of his horse and made sure he was out of range of the Randomizer's sword. But the Randomizer had a bow of his own and shot Stoon's horse out from under him. Then Stoon ran away, seeing he no longer had an advantage. The last cavalryman was chased back to his own side, but the commies dared not chase him too far away from their own base in fear that they might go against their orders. This resulted in a stalemate that was only broken when Crash Rash attempted to tunnel underneath the commies' base, but he was found by Bush Does MC and quickly killed. But Stoom snuck back inside and killed 2 more commies, while the rest of the team was distracted on the front walls. He burned their stuff to make sure the gear could not be reused. Both teams stood face to face over the trenches, shooting at each other, until Bush Does MC made a break through their lines and caused the Democrats to retreat backwards. Rusty Stick killed a Democrat, and barely a minute later, another Democrat died. Bush Does MC got 2 more kills. Seal and Invisible Guy managed to escape. They set up a small fortress on top of the mountain in hopes of fighting off the commies. Meanwhile, Stoom hid underneath the commies' base, waiting and planning. Finally, the communists got the order to find and kill the last remaining players.
ChatGPT wants you to go and attack the final people who are hiding.
Let's go!
Seal and Invisible Guy placed lava at the top of the mountain to help defend. And then, the battle of their lives began. Invisible Guy was thrown into the lava and killed. But Seal managed to escape. He ran through the forest until he came to the Democrats' base. He saddled the horse, but he was immediately kicked off, and Bush Does MC got his final kill. But this whole time while the commies were distracted, Stoom was blowing up their base. They eventually came looking for him, but he had already towered up.
He attempted to drop TNT on them, but he missed. Ryan Beast knocked him off his tower, and they chased him underground. But they were scared that he had another TNT trap waiting, so they stayed above ground. Stoom came back up in a different spot. He came from behind and towered up again, trying to drop TNT, but missed. He was hit off again, and he mined underground. But this time, Bush mined down to fight him. The rest of the commies spotted him and started mining towards him. Stoomed escaped and ran. He mined deep underground, still being chased. Stoomed mined to the surface, where he found Golden Knight alone. He had no choice but to run. He tried to fight, but he was outnumbered. He was double teamed by Golden Knight and Rusty Stick. It was over. After all of that, the commies finally won.